Hello there, friends! We are opening the last group of the ESL Pro League. Group D, we have a great set of teams here, and I'm sure that these teams will create a lot of surprises. The results of the first day, new information about Source 2 for us to discuss, well, and in general I have collected all the most important and interesting things from the pro scene. Let's get straight to it. We will start, as always, with the recent reshuffles. Insiders say that the guys from Vitality are playing Prax with Dupree again. So that's an interesting thing we got going on, because Jax helped the team to get into the playoffs, and besides that, he was the best player in the squad after Zaivu, and they won't even let him finish the championship. Fans are obviously unhappy with the situation, and it's rather strange that Jax still hasn't found a new team. Also, we got more news from Taco. He once again confirmed that he had taken a prolonged vacation. He will not be playing with his team at the ESL Pro League, and he won't even return by the time that RMR will be held. At the same time, Taco insisted that he doesn't leave the team and doesn't plan to end his career, and it's just a couple of day offs that he took to solve his personal problems. But nevertheless, the Brazilians are doing well without him still. They even made it to the playoffs. Mantu also decided to shed a light on his future. In an interview, he shared information that he indeed got invited to NIP, but when they had the opportunity to sign Hat-Trick, they immediately changed their opinion and picked the youngster. Then he was offered to join EG, but as I understood, he was not invited to the main squad, but to EG Black, and that's why he turned down that offer. Time goes by and Mantu is still sitting idle without a team, and apparently now he's ready to say yes to absolutely any level. In an interview, he said that he would consider all options. A team from America, no problem. To perform at tier 2 scene, okay. He has nothing against that. To play at the tier 3 level, well, that's a shame, but what can he do? To cut the long story short, it looks like Mantu is not particularly in demand right now. Another super juicy information came from Loba. I don't know if this is true or not, but he says the following. Nexa asked the team to work as much as possible while they're young and while there's an opportunity to build a successful career, but they wanted something else, to spend money. As a result, they got into an agreement and kicked their captain out. I hope that Nexa will find a better team and better teammates. It certainly sounds like a complete nonsense, but we don't have any other information yet. We are waiting for Nexa to give at least some kind of comment and hope he finally returns, because the team is suffering without him. And the last thing on this topic is an interview with Nefani. He became a guest on the HLTV's podcast and told the audience how things were going for Inters at the moment. And in general, he decided to speak about the team as a whole.
Actually, I'm really surprised that I can see that few teams really struggling, and I can see how Inters can easily feel them, but they not interesting for some reason. I don't know about invites to Inters because I'm not talking with him about that. Maybe he already chose his next team or something, because as I said, I don't know any specific information, but I can see easily at least like 3 teams who have some struggles, and Inters can feel them easily because it seems like they don't have like consistent player, and that's it.
Question, how's Inter's English?
I don't think that it's need a lot of time to practice it. If you're not in game leader, 1 month and everything will be fine.
Do you think he could play on an international team if they need him to speak?
Easily. He's pretty cool guy if we talk about like communication with other people. Sheer is crazy right now. I mean, he's good. He got really good form, and I believe in one day he will be number 1 in the world. Pretty reasonable that Sheer's best age is coming.
Yeah. Okay. The prime's still coming.
Yeah, and I believe that he will be the best player in the world, not 1 year, let's say. I believe in it. Look at statistic at hltv.org. I was fucked up in 2022, at least first half, let's say. And it's a main thing, I will say, why we was losing, in my opinion, because I'm always was saying that, but even if you're good in game leader, you must at least make some frags, let's say. Even if we talk about G2, just look how they played when Huxi was not killing anyone, and now he's not top fragging, but he making his work, and they are pretty good because teams can't abuse him.
Well, that's my man. He couldn't resist sharing some good words. He managed to wish Inters good luck, highlighted Shiro's merits, and took all the blame on himself for their past failures. That's a pure soul. What else can I say? And of course, how can I leave you without news on Source 2? Now, everyone around seems to be talking about it, and on the night of Tuesday to Wednesday, it literally looked like the whole world was patiently sitting and waiting for this update. There was even a flash mob that was started and followed by many teams, HLTV, Faceit, and everyone else on Twitter. People were mentioning Source 2 all the way, and we sure did get a lot of information at that moment. Firstly, Gabe Follower posted a list of maps that were already ready for Source 2. These are Overpass, Short Dust, Inferno, Italy, Cobblestone, and a few more different modes. In theory, this is already enough to launch a beta version. All modes are there, so people will have no troubles playing it. Then, people started sending him info about the Source 2 exe file, and as he wrote shortly after, that was a real leak, and the developers themselves were shocked at how the file ended up in the public domain. Furthermore, people then got a new info from other insiders saying that on Tuesday night the developers played on the new version. These can be easily seen from the log files. Then they added the file named cs2.exe to the official CSGO configs. Let me remind you that all this happened on the night from Tuesday to Wednesday. I decided to stay awake and watch everything that was happening, and there were thousands of people like me. Well, apparently in order to completely destroy everyone, Valve just added Korean localization that night. Well, thanks, Gabe. That's what I've been sitting and waiting for all night. Now, many people say that the community needs to wait for next Wednesday or Thursday. That's when it will definitely come out. That only means we have to keep on waiting. And now I just feel like this all doesn't look some kind of a malicious joke at all, because the resonance is too big. Can you just imagine there's no update yet, but the players are already ready to dump Valorant for CS on Source 2? This was stated by the CEO of 100 Thieves.
You know what was shocking to me? The only people that are impacted by this are the employees at Riot and the teams that have rosters in the VCT and the franchise league. I couldn't believe how many players were openly talking about the fact that if Counter-Strike 2 is real, how quickly they're going to move back over and just ditch Valorant. I mean, I understand why they would do it and why they're saying what they're saying, but there also is a part of me that just finds it, and I don't mean this any other way, just surface level knee-jerk reaction. I just think it's a little disrespectful.
Wow, there you go. That is, the game isn't even released yet, but the guys are already fleeing from Valorant. And as I understand, he's not talking about some particular 1-2 players, but there's a solid number of players who think so. OC shares the same opinion. After release of CSGO on Source 2, the players who once left for Valorant will definitely return. We're going to see a lot more people returning that we've witnessed before. But Simple decided to show us the truth and wrote on Instagram that there was no Source 2. There were no keys and it was just jokes from pro players. Has anyone really believed it? And finally, the former CSGO player Angel shared his blunt opinion on this whole thing. Everyone presents Source 2 as something that changes the fact that developers don't care about you all. Perhaps after the transition to the newest engine, Valve will finally begin to devote much more time to the game, but I'm not sure about that. When they have Steam that pays off in a month probably more than the whole CSGO for all the time, I mean, everything is quite obvious. Although, if we will break another record, let's say 2 or even 3 million people online, then suddenly a miracle might happen. We will see. This is all the news about Source 2 so far, so it's time to move on to the results of the first game day. Oh, and wait, one more thing. Did you see what Boomish did there? It looks like he's returning to the previous level.
I like that he's going aggressive. Let's see, he will be rewarded. No, he will be punished. He hit Boomich, but Boomich. What? No!
Oh crap, that's the wrong clip.
The rifle, at least for now, as he goes directly through this smoke. But he's been spotted out, so I'll have to try and escape up that ladder. There will be a 4th picked up for the Copenhagen Flames, but next round, 1 win will be going for the full buy.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh, no. He has this.
He doesn't have
They
a kit.
have no idea. It doesn't matter. He has it. He has the time. They have no idea that he's on the spawn because
No
they're so
way.
desperate hunting for this AK.
Let's move on to the last group of the ESL Pro League. Group D, we have here Na'Vi, Spirit, Astralis, Liquid, ENCE, Force, ATK, and Rare Atom. There will be 4 teams in the playoffs. The rest will go home to continue preparing for the RMR. And, well, the first day definitely brought some surprises. Let's start with the first of them, and it's Force beating Na'Vi. Many assumed that it would be very difficult for Na'Vi, but in the end they managed to lose completely, demonstrating a very weak game, especially after a month of preparations. And Force, on the contrary, did a great job. Their shooting was excellent, and the way they were reading their opponent was just brilliant, as if they were preparing quite decently. Although, according to their captain Jerry, this was not the case.
Almost from the beginning, we didn't have proper boot camp, and we had a lot another official matches. So that's why I'm calling 10,000 more steps, because we didn't work as we worked with the previous roster on bootcamp. So all we had now is our firepower and some, ASAP strategies, let's call it like that, because that means we don't know all the way outs from exact situation. That's why I'm calling that. And what about goals in ESL Pro League? I think it will be just do as much damage as we can.
Considering the situation and all the building you need to do with your team, how did you manage to beat Na'Vi today?
I don't know. We just did what we just did what we prepared. We prepared for the first map. Is our pick overpass really good? After that, for Ancient, our coach Fierce, he was doing a research for himself without me, so I didn't take part in that, and he just came up after and said, okay, they do this, we can do this, we can do this. So I said, okay, let's just use what we have on Ancient. Considering Inferno, it was the map we were giving a lot of credit in last 2 weeks, so we had no preparation and we just played like we used to play. And I think that's it. Some kind of good individuals from us, and some kind of good goals sometimes, and that's it. That's the close score, actually. Anyway, that's the close score.
Maybe this is the whole secret. Force just didn't prepare and they ruined Na'Vi just for fun of it. Well, and what was Na'Vi's reaction? Bit just posted a facepalm. Apparently the guys are completely tilted. Simple didn't even write anything at all, which haven't happened for a long time. But Overdrive shared a secret explaining why Na'Vi lost.
Мне тут один инсайдер из Valve рассказал, что оказывается у Na'Vi уже месяц как есть ключи, доступ к CSGO 2, и они уже месяц в нее сидят, тренируются, чтобы когда она выйдет, быть там лучшими. Поэтому это все объясняет.
Manesi, by the way, agrees with this opinion.
Я видел, да, что Na'Vi проиграли. Ну, ничего страшного, первая игра в группе. Потом будет попроще. Может быть, они просто уже тренируются на втором сорсе.
Well, and meanwhile, Spirit were playing against Astralis. The Danes are in good shape right now, they even won some Tier 2 tournament. Device seems to be returning to his best shape, Blamef is ripping rivals apart as always. The only problem with Astralis is that they have performed only one time at Tier 1 championships over the past 6 months. If the Danes had been told about this in their golden year, they would have laughed. And logically speaking, I would expect to see an equal fight here, but Team Spirit beat the Danes in a very easy way. I would even say they weren't given a single chance. Magic said in a post-match interview that they had planned it that way. For them, that was a logical result, as they have studied the game of Astralis well, and the Danes haven't changed anything really. Plus, individually speaking, the guys from Spirit were stronger. In general, congrats to the winners, and the Danes urgently need to do something about their game. And here's what happened next, and that was a bummer. Liquid versus Rare Atom. I have heard about this team. I know that they're destroying everyone in their region, even IHC and Tylo. That is, this is a super tough Chinese team. But I was shocked when I saw what was happening in the match. They just destroyed Liquid with a score of 2-0, 16-11 on the first map and 16-3 on the second. It's mad crazy. The most important thing in all of this is that if you look at the statistics, the Chinese team doesn't have a clear leader. The The whole team was not afraid to shoot. They have a rating from 1.38 to 1.68. Wow, that's tough. I don't know, maybe those guys were simply just more skilled, but it seems to me that Liquid underestimated the opponent. Elige apologized after the game on behalf of the whole team. He said it was if they hadn't logged on to the server at all and hadn't woken up. That's what I call an amazing first day. There was also a match between ENCE and ATK. ENCE almost repeated the feat of Liquid, losing one map, but they pulled themselves together and won the other two, confidently. It would be too sensational if favorites lost here too. The esports world wouldn't be able to recover from it. Here is a grid with the results and the next matches. It's funny that all three Intel Grand Slam winners ended up in the bottom grid, so this group promises to be very interesting. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything CSGO related. Well, and I don't say goodbye for a long time. See you soon.